There we go. Hey.
You sure?
Yeah, no, that's right. Wait, we'll be right back.
What about the links?
Okay, I didn't do that, but hey, welcome back, everybody. We're a little late tonight.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, we're a little late tonight, but we are the Geek Spot News program. That's Jack over there. I'm Frank, and that's Michael Scott behind me.
One day you'll get there with the pointing.
I won't. That way. Yeah, look, there he is. Look at him. There he is.
I see him. You found him.
I found his face. Hi,
You
Charles.
found Michael Scott and the Geek Spot. Great job. That's two finds in one night.
I have to turn my light on. Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
Had some stuff going on. Oh,
yeah,
here it is.
Yep. Yeah, I try and make sure that we get a little background noise when we can.
Sounds like me on monitors.
No, there was sound there.
There was no squealing.
Yeah.
So I'll guess I'll start with you because I have. So how are you?
You have so much. You'd actually Frank got out of the house.
Yeah.
It was crazy couple weeks for you.
Yeah.
I got out of the house. I got out of the country. Went on a cruise for a little bit. Got to catch up on. I talked about Monarch, that Apple show a while ago. So I decided that since I enjoyed the show so much, I should probably watch every movie that set up the show. So I did when I was on vacation. So I watched all of the Godzilla and then Skull Island and then Godzilla King of the Monsters and then Godzilla versus Kong. So got caught up on all the Kongzilla stuff.
Was it good?
It's all so good.
Yeah.
It's all great. They watching it now is interesting having the context of the show before seeing all the movies instead of the other way around.
Right.
It's really interesting to see how many things they tie back in and planted seeds and did all this little stuff for.
I'm listening. I have to.
You have to turn on your light. But we did that and then so I was in Bermuda for a day or so and doing other stuff down there, and then I did some shows and some back to school and the kids doing things and all that kind of stuff and concerts. And I don't even remember where I was stuck last week where we didn't do this. I think I was at another concert. I was at a jazz concert last week for the kids and away for work.
Jazz concert.
All at the same time. So it's been good. You were out of the house. We missed all of WrestleMania.
It didn't work. I was so hoping that the WrestleMania background would shine. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, if you caught the if you caught our little video we posted, that was a treat. JJ, Danny, and I recorded a little video of our WrestleMania picks. And we posted it up, and it's like a 20 or 30-minute video that took over an hour to record because JJ and Danny would simultaneously constantly drop out in the middle of us talking. So that was fun. One day I'll post the whole thing of that along with the Last Skywalker lost audio we have.
That'll be great. Everybody will really love that.
Yeah. I was almost perfect in my picks.
Were you?
But we went Sunday night, so I'll do a quick brief recap. We went Sunday night 2. We sat on I went with friends of ours, Matt and Jay. We sat on we were at the 45-yard line. It was great. I have a lot of pictures and video. I have to kind of form it up. Work's been a little crazy, and my free time has been spent not doing anything, which you'll see soon, which is normal. But yeah, it was great. The matches were great. There's only 6 matches, and then they had the Hall of Fame thing. The Mummers came out for the first match with Seth Rollins.
This was the Sunday night, right?
The Sunday night show.
Okay.
Yeah, and our good friend Thomas, who plays bass in Split Decision, is also part of Freilingers, is a Mummers Brigade here, and it was awesome to see. When I watched back WrestleMania the next night, the announcers had no idea what to do with the Mummers or how to they weren't they didn't know anything about it. One of them even said, "Isn't this something from New Orleans?" And I just cringed.
They were not prepped on the
No,
mummer culture.
no. But live, it was great. And again, the show was phenomenal. We had I had a great time. We had great seats. I didn't drink during the show because I figured I'm going to be there for 3.5 hours. I got a bottle of water, and at the link, they don't give you the cap to your bottle of water. So that was odd.
Fun.
Yeah, the lady said, that's a policy. And I'm like, that's dumb. She went, I know. So I just took my big bottle of water that cost $37 or something, and my two $40 t-shirts.
Well, that's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
It's reasonable pricing for t-shirts.
The last 10 minutes of the main event was what really sold the whole night. It was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the world title, and it was Bloodline rules, so anybody could interfere. So Solo Sikoa came in and started to interfere, and actually first Jimmy Uso came in to interfere. Jey Uso's music hit. The brothers came down and they fought kind of up on the ramp and tackled each other. One tackled the other off the ramp into the crowd.
So it looks like he did wonders for his ribs, because I did actually manage to watch
that
Sunday night from home.
Yeah, dude, it was great. Then Solo Sikoa showed up in the ring, and then John Cena ran down, which was awesome because I've never seen John Cena wrestle live. And while he didn't actually really wrestle, getting to see him live was kind of awesome. I've never seen The Rock live like that. The Rock came down. The Shields music hit. Seth Rollins snuck into the ring. And what's funny about that, or not funny, but Seth Rollins wrestled the night before. He wrestled I think it was a 45-minute match, maybe, with a torn meniscus in his knee. And then came down to the ring Sunday night and got beat up pretty decently. Again, torn meniscus. The Rock came down. The Rock yelled at John Cena, "Get the F out of my ring." Without saying F, he actually, curses now.
Yeah.
And then The Undertaker showed up. The lights went out. The gong hit. Lights came up. Undertaker was standing behind him. Choke slam. Lights went out. Undertaker left. Cody pins Roman basically for the win. The cool thing about the Undertaker thing is that he got a text. He was in a box, so we were in section 119. He was in the suite at 117, and he randomly, like at the beginning of the night, was sticking his head out and like waving at people and doing the cut the throat thing like he does. And, he got a text message a quarter of the way through the night that they needed him to come down. They were going to use him. He really wasn't even like he knew they might use him.
So he was dressed that way because that's just what he showed up in to hang out.
That's what he showed up in. And it advertises his podcast and all. So that's what he showed up in. So he left the suite, ran down and did his spot. It was great. And then I went to the Raw after WrestleMania Monday night with Pat and JJ. Good friend Sean Stinson got us up to the club level to watch it.
Wow.
Yeah, Sean's a good guy. And it was a great weekend. Lot of people.
I'm sure there was a lot of people down there. Everybody survived. Not a super spreader event or any of those fun things. Everything was good.
No, the only real issue that was there was our friend Danny. His son dislocated his knee in the parking lot, and Danny, his wife Kelly, and his son Daniel had to miss WrestleMania. They spent the night in Children's Hospital. A lot of people shared their story on Facebook. One of the people from the Eagles organization reached out to Danny and is apparently sending them to WrestleMania next year. Which is a really awesome thing. And they had tweeted to like Cody Rhodes' sister, Cody Rhodes' brother, and they got a box the other day from the Dusty Rhodes Foundation with a bunch of like t-shirts, a little pop figurine, I think, and Cody Rhodes' weight belt. So when Cody Rhodes comes when he does his thing, he takes his weight belt off and he hands it to somebody in the crowd. He got one of those signed by Cody, that's all cool stuff. Yeah. It sucks that he had to miss that, but it looks like it's going to turn out really good for him.
Yeah, it's great.
I didn't rewatch anything.
Did you actually watch anything?
Fallout.
Okay.
Which I want to talk about in shortly. But I didn't I know the Bad Batch is out there, and
Yep, I'm all caught up on Bad Batch, all caught
I'm
up on
not
X-Men 97,
not
which again, I think I mentioned this last time I talked about X-Men 97. If you are planning on watching that with your kids because you're like, "Oh, it was a kids show and I watched in the
sure.
90s." No, don't do it. Nope,
No.
nope, nope. Nothing about a kids show.
So I remember when you started to watch it, you weren't you were having a little issue getting through the first episode the first time. It picks
Well,
up.
so when I tried to watch the original one,
Okay.
I didn't make it through like
No, I
the original run. I think you tried as well, and it was like, nope.
yeah, no.
Clearly, that one was at least when it started was more of a kids kind of show. This one, not at all.
No.
Gets dark quick and some crazy, scary horror stuff, and like not kid related at all. I think there's even language and all that kind of stuff in it.
Oh,
Like,
good.
yeah, but like some major character deaths they deal with that were like not planned and not happened in the comics. So I mean, we'll see if they stick. But
Okay.
it looks like they probably will. But they did a couple cool storylines from back in the late 80s, mid 80s, and some of the 90s. It is always weird with that show to see how they have to twist these comic book stories to
Right.
fit them into a show and like rework them and be like, all right, well, this is the character set that we have here. So we're going to just use these characters instead of the ones that were in the original story. And
Ooh.
like, because they did Inferno, which was one of the first like big crossovers in the
Mhm.
90s in the X-Men continuity, crossover with X Factor and X-Men and New Mutants and all of those. It was a huge crossover involving Colossus's sister, Magic from the New Mutants, and pulled in the Madeline Pryor character, who Scott Summers was married to, and really brought Mr. Sinister to the forefront and played all these different things and went across the entire Marvel universe
Oh, wow.
when that happened, right? So they got into this big summer crossover thing for like most of the 90s. It was late 80s and 90s once they did Secret Wars. It was kind of every year they had something, whether it was across the annuals or the regular comics. This one was across the regular comics. Some really cool stuff in the Daredevil run too happened at the same time. Anyway, so with that, they pulled that into like a 9-minute version
Oh, wow.
instead, and like in and out. But like, I was like, I get that you were like, hey, we want to touch this storyline, but like, if you're not going to do the whole story,
Yeah.
I don't know that it's really worth doing it. But you had that, and then they did they jumped by a ton of years to some of the Genosha era, which was more current kind of stuff, and then they jumped back again to a different stretch in this last one, which is Charles Xavier and the Shi'ar Empire or Shi'ar Empire, and then another one where Storm had lost her powers and ends up out in the desert with Forge for a while, doing things and fighting ghosts and like all sorts of weird stuff. And like all were great comic book stories, but like they don't necessarily translate well since you have to do
Right.
different characters and stuff. The Storm and Forge stuff was pretty tight to the original, but it has some really good moments in it and it has a lot of really weak moments in it.
I'll get to it. I will
Um,
get to it.
Bad Batch has gotten good.
Yeah, I think I'm at a point where I was really tired yesterday and I was really run down for just being old and tried to watch it and I fell asleep a little bit. And again, that was because I was tired and old. I had a hockey game. I started a new league that plays on Sunday mornings,
No.
and I was yeah, 10 a.m. down in Ridley. Um, I had to get off McDade Boulevard and head towards the old bootleggers. So I
Mhm.
think I got drunk just driving by that. I think there's still fumes in the air from bootleggers. Um, yeah, so my game was at 10 a.m., so I had to leave at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So that's going to be fun if I go out drinking the night before that league. Um, yeah, so I tried to watch Bad Batch, tried to catch up, and I was just like, ugh. One thing I did note that May 1st is going to be the end of all things Clone Wars and whatnot. It'll be 8,022 days since the Clone Wars cartoons and all started back on May 16th, 2002. The very final Clone Wars cartoon or anything like that as we know of now, will be May 1st, 2024.
With that animation style, you mean, right?
Probably, yeah.
Because there's Clone Wars characters 3 days later in Tales of the Dark Side.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the Clone Wars saga itself, according to the TikTok I read, which I did no research on whatsoever, like 10 seconds before you showed up tonight.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah. Look, I can't see Filoni leaving it alone.
No, it's he loves that, and I like I said, I can't wait to get into it because I really do like the Bad Batch.
And they have that animation style so locked down for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did announce and already coming out. I don't even know if we have seen each other since they announced Tales of the Dark Side. I don't know if that's in our
No, and
rundown somewhere.
I have the time. I have what's coming up to be released that we can shoot over to in a few minutes. But I have so many links of so much stuff we missed.
All the links.
All the links because I like that. Furiosa.
Yes.
Coming out soon. There is a 15-minute action sequence that required 78 days and 200 stunt people to film.
That seems excessive.
That's incredibly excessive. I just wanted to point that out. 78 days to film a 15-minute action sequence. It's got to be a banger.
Look, I bet both people that are going to go see that movie are going to really enjoy it.
I won't be there. I know what the next movie I'm going to see, and we'll talk about that again in a few minutes.
Dune 2.
That's actually out on the Plex, so
I know.
I might go back to back on them one month.
I know.
Do you remember me mentioning the Office reboot in the past?
A few times you brought it up, and you have somebody looking over you thinking about it right now.
I do. Michael Scott is very concerned about the fact that they have cast the first 2 stars to join the reboot.
Let's mention this is not an American reboot.
No. And from what I understand, because of who these actors are, it should be really, 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 really good. The first one that is cast, and I'm probably going to butcher her name, Sabrina Impacaturi.
That's probably, sure. That's some version of her name, I'm sure.
It's really close. She's 56 years old. She is one of the first people cast in the Office reboot. You might know her from, as the IMDb page loads,
season 2 of White Lotus. She was the hotel manager during that season. The older woman who was managing the hotel and had some random trysts throughout the show.
She's Italian.
Not blown away by her in White Lotus. I thought she was fine, but not somebody I'd want to watch as a lead. So I'm intrigued to see how that works out.
And the other person cast is Domhnall Gleeson, who you would know from Star Wars, your General Hux, who was one of the bad guys who just decided, you know what? I'm going to be a rebel in the 3rd movie because why the fuck not?
Yeah, even though his dad was then set up as starting the entire First Order.
Right, great. But it's cool for him to flip because
he's also from the Peter Rabbit franchise, for anybody concerned about his comedic chops.
Nothing in that movie made sense.
And he was also brilliant in the show The Patient with Steve Carell or Michael Scott, if you know. So there's a little bit of a tie there. Maybe that's when they talked about it. But if you haven't watched The Patient, it was I talked about it on this show, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so. It's fantastic.
I vaguely remember that. We've done
it's
a lot.
The one with the psychiatrist who's kidnapped.
Yeah.
Okay. Domhnall is the patient who kidnapped.
Okay. Greg Daniels in January said that the story for The Office would take place within the same world as the NBC series led by Steve Carell. So
yeah, it's just another Office.
That's fine as long as it's
the Dunder Mifflin in Scotland, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. What about a Melrose Place reboot?
No, they did one.
They're doing one.
Another one?
Yes.
They just did one.
They're doing another one.
I just missed it.
No, you didn't. 3 of the original stars are returning.
Oh, dear God. Which 3 could it be?
It could be Heather Locklear as Amanda Woodward. It could be Laura Leighton as Sydney Andrews. And it could be Daphne Zuniga as Joe Reynolds. It could be, or it actually is, because that's who it is.
Wait, Daphne Zuniga was on the first
She was. She played Joe Reynolds. I watched the first
Really?
season or 3 of Melrose Place. Like, I was kinda all in back then. Would have been great fodder for a podcast. Yes, it did do an 18 episode reboot in 2009. And yeah, it's coming.
Like Princess Vespa
Yes,
was on Melrose Place. How did I not know she was on
Princess
Melrose Place?
Vespa was in the original Melrose Place, yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised you did not know that.
I didn't. It was
Not that you
I did
can't,
not
right?
watch much TV in the mid '90s.
That's true, yeah.
I watched
You were
the South Park movie was on quite a bit.
Yeah. She was in
Um,
111 episodes.
yeah. I didn't watch Beverly Hills. I didn't watch any of that stuff in the mid '90s. I was
Did.
playing punk rock music, and then when I was in college, I don't even think we had cable. I think we might have had an antenna that we used for some stuff, and just listened to a lot of music otherwise.
Probably football. That's not the
No,
only
Blitz. We
reboot.
played Blitz. It was most of my college
Okay.
last 2 years of college was playing Blitz.
That's not the only reboot.
Oh,
We know there's a Naked Gun reboot coming with Liam Neeson.
I
as the
did. I
star.
did hear about that, and
He's
not starring O.J. Simpson.
No, OJ, who has tragically passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Liam Neeson is going to play Frank Drebin Jr.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And we got an iconic Baywatch star cast alongside him. Can you guess which one? It's not the Hoff.
Is it Carmen Electra?
It is not Carmen Electra. And it is not Zac Efron from the movie.
Oh, is it Pamela? Is she coming back?
Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is going to be, I would assume, the comedic love interest.
Yeah, the Priscilla Presley to his Leslie Nielsen, huh?
Pamela Anderson's comedic experience makes her an ideal choice for the Naked Gun reboot.
Is that Barbed Wire? Is that her comedic experience?
I guess maybe that Pam and Tommy show. Maybe.
Did you ever watch that? I don't know if you ever saw it.
Yes, I did actually. I finished.
Okay.
Sebastian Stan and the Fake Schlong.
Yeah.
That's what I pulled away from all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the second episode. So I feel like there's 4 or 5 episodes that were all just Seth Rogen after that, but it's fine.
There was a lot of Seth Rogen. So those reboots are happening.
Yeah, I'm not excited about any of those.
I'm not either excited.
Because I don't know how Naked Gun humor would work in 2024.
I don't think it's going to work well. Liam Neeson can play a good comedic role because he can be that quiet and deadpan. He could deliver those lines like deadpan like.
Look, he's whatever he's got to do to get a check at this point is where Liam Neeson's at in life.
Hey, he could take some money from Hollywood Babylon.
I mean, geez, he could.
Quentin Tarantino was going to direct his last movie called The Movie Critic. He scrapped that idea and he's just going to think of something else now.
That's for the best because it turns out that all of a sudden he was actually going to make like a sequel or a continuation.
Yeah, it was going to be a 70s movie.
No, it was going to have Brad Pitt back as his character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
So as opposed to,
I see that now.
He's always kind of tied things and looped things through. And like, if you watch Reservoir Dogs, you caught that like Vincent Vega was the cousin of Michael Madsen's character in Reservoir Dogs from Pulp Fiction. But he's never really done an official sequel. And that was kind of what this seemed like it was going to be, where it was the same character continuation, not just shared universe. So I'm kind of glad that he is
at least
decided not to.
At least he's away from Star Trek.
Maybe not. Maybe he'll direct Star Trek 6. They're just going to skip the other ones. It's fine.
Well, I got Star Trek news in a minute too.
Ooh.
Sony is in talks with Apollo Global Management to buy Paramount. Paramount is still in talks for a potential merger with Skydance.
Okay.
So Sony
and Paramount would be a great combo.
And Sony would then own Skydance if they merge with Paramount.
I think the problematic spot for Sony then is how much of their content's already licensed everywhere else.
Right.
With what do they do? Because they've already licensed out all of their products for the next like 5 years. So they wouldn't have anything exclusive up front. And same thing they ran into with The Office and Peacock, right? Where that was on, I think, Max when it launched, right?
Yep. No, it was
Or it
NBC.
was on Netflix.
Netflix. It was on Netflix.
And then it
Everything was on
went
Netflix.
to one of the other ones, but like should have been. It went to Peacock, but it should have been on Peacock the whole time.
But if they got Paramount has 6 main units, all of which have their own sub branches. So you would have Paramount Streaming, which includes Paramount Plus and Pluto TV. They would have Paramount Media Networks, which would include Nickelodeon and MTV. Paramount Pictures, CBS Entertainment Group, which would include CBS, BET, and VH1,
Mm-hmm.
and then Paramount International News, which includes Channel 5 and Tele-FE, or whatever the hell that is.
Not to count
And
Viacom.
the merchandising.
Right, not to count Viacom that has all of the terrestrial radio stations as well.
Right. So I wonder how much that runs up against antitrust. But with Comcast owning everything and Disney owning everything else, it probably.
Well, Comcast owning NBC and Universal, I don't think they'd run into that there.
Yeah, and then Disney owns everything else, not this. So
yeah, look, we're getting down to where all of the companies we're down to 3. I'm intrigued to see where AMC ends up in everything, because somehow they are still kind of hanging out on their own.
Another fun movie that I love to talk about every chance I get: Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah, one day you'll watch it.
I'm going to. I actually am. So Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, the box set is going to include a mystery extended death scene and a ruined childhood's book. It's a 16-page book.
Okay.
Come on, that's awesome.
That is.
That's just awesome.
Well, you have a birthday coming up someday in another 8 months or 10 months.
The twisted childhood universe is alive and well.
Goody, can't wait. That and Peter Pan. It's coming soon.
Yeah, it is. It is. Are you going to watch Winnie the Pooh movies?
At some point. I have a very limited time frame to watch content, and this might be the week for it. We'll see what happens.
All right, so we had CinemaCon.
Yes,
a lot of stuff came out at CinemaCon. There was some Star Trek news.
Oh,
there's an Origin movie announced by Paramount for a 2025 release. This is going to be a movie set decades before the Kirk years again. Like they did Star Trek Enterprise with Scott Bakula. This is going to be even before that.
So wasn't Discovery before?
Discovery was 5 years before Kirk, but then went 900 years into the future.
Got it.
So Discovery ends after this season. They just started, and they're tying their storyline back to a Next Generation little thread episode that they had about the beings that created the universe. And
Strange New Worlds is right before is in that 5 year.
Yeah, Strange New Worlds is again in that same period, 5 years before Kirk. Before Kirk takes on the Enterprise, because they have Paul Wesley playing Lieutenant James T. Kirk in Strange New Worlds.
Got it.
Strange New Worlds season 3 is going to come out in 2025. It's going to be 10 episodes. Season 4 was already picked up as they're in the middle of filming season 3.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah, that's the Star Trek is churning along pretty good. The Origin series is the Origin movie is supposed to come out sometime in 2025, and Lower Decks was canceled after the 5th season is over.
I mean, it's a lot of seasons for anything anymore in this streaming era.
And I'm sure an animated show like that takes a ton of work to go into.
Yeah.
So the untitled Star Trek origin story is going to take place decades before J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009 movie, which is actually still going to be a 4th movie in the J.J. Abrams trilogy of Star Trek movies.
Great.
I know what I said. I said what I said on purpose. So Lionsgate apparently had a really big CinemaCon.
Yeah, I was on a boat, so I didn't know any of this.
No, I didn't. I just kind of caught all up on this today because I really didn't remember that it was a thing. They're bringing back the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Blair Witch is coming back.
But not with any of the original people, right?
I don't think so. It says that they're teaming with Blumhouse to bring back the Blair Witch Project, and that Margot Robbie's company, Lucky Chap, is working with the studio to finally make a movie based on Monopoly.
Great. That's what everybody's been waiting for.
It's what I'm. The Blair Witch film is described as a new vision that will reintroduce this horror classic for a new generation, and there will be more coming down the line in this vein, according to a Lionsgate press release.
So do you think the Monopoly movie is just going to be somebody run down in Atlantic City on a Saturday night, getting lost and having to buy their way across town using whatever they have to?
Using the Monopoly Go game to tie it all together?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that you're into that still.
I'm not into it. It's just a mindless tap thing that I do at work.
Just because since it's all named after streets in Atlantic City, I think that would be that would be fun.
That announcement comes off as the company is also confirming work is underway on the Highlander franchise, starring box office draw Henry Cavill.
Is he?
No. Naruto by Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings director Destin Daniel Cretton. And Now You See Me 3 from Ruben Fleischer, who did Zombieland.
Look, I'll take that one. That one's good. I mean, I didn't see Now You See Me 1 or 2, but I heard they were great.
Okay. Cavill was in attendance to talk about 2 upcoming Guy Ritchie films, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which did not do great at the box office. I think it finished number 4 this week, but it made more money than they expected.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Huh?
That made more than they expected? It was not good.
Yep. And a movie called In the Gray.
Yeah, Civil War, which I hadn't really heard of.
I heard of it, and I did not hear wonderful about it.
It destroyed everybody else at the box office.
Yep. That has, if I recall, Jesse Plemons and Kristen Dunst.
Oh, that's what it is.
Husband and wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got it, but that one at 11 million. Then you had Abigail at 5.
That's the horror movie.
Yep. Then you had Godzilla X Kong in like its 3rd or 4th week.
Right.
And then I think you had then you had Dune 2.
Oh, jeez.
Which is still already out on streaming and beat The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare for its opening weekend at 9 million.
I kind of wanted to see that, but I'll wait for streaming.
I mean, it has an A- cinema score, so it's apparently pretty good. Maybe that one will get legs, because I feel like they've not done it justice with its advertising.
Probably not.
Because I feel like there hasn't been as much as there could have been for having 2 of the supposed biggest action stars on the planet between Alan Ritchson and Henry Cavill in it. But what do I know?
And then Paramount dropped. So on September 13th, Transformers 1 is going to come out. That's an animated feature that explores the beginnings of Megatron and Optimus Prime and how they became rivals and got their powers.
Yep.
Saw a trailer for it. It wasn't bad.
It's got a lot of big names tied to it.
It does.
Chris Hemsworth is Optimus Prime. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not sure yet. May 17th, If is coming out. It's another Ryan Reynolds movie where Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds.
Do you know what If stands for?
No.
Imaginary friend.
Imaginary friend. I should have fucking knew that. And like Steve Carell's in it as a voice, and there's a lot of big name voice actors in it.
Yeah, I'm sure Hugh Jackman makes a cameo. Yeah.
Probably. June 28th, 2024, Quiet Place Day 1 comes out. I'm not a horror guy. That looks cool as hell.
Yeah, trailer looks dope.
Yeah, it looks dope. It's the beginning of how the Quiet Place universe starts. Lupita
Nyong'o.
Thank you. And Joseph Quinn are starring. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out this December 20th.
I'll take it. Look, it's the only way we get Jim Carrey anymore.
He's back as Dr. Robotnik. They announced Smile 2, another horror movie, October 18th. And surprisingly, November 22nd, 2024, Gladiator 2 doesn't look awful.
Oh, doesn't it?
I saw the trailer. It doesn't look awful.
Okay. I have not watched the trailer for that yet. I could not do streaming video while I was out of the country, so...
Probably a smart move.
No, I couldn't.
don't you like own half of Verizon now? Don't you control half of that?
No, no, no.
But
Uh,
I mean, it's far enough away from the original that it could be good.
yeah, look, we'll see. I don't think people have Ridley Scott movies in their wheelhouse anymore to go to the movies to see, regardless of what it's called.
No, probably not.
Just because they are all long and they're wordy, and nobody has time for that shit anymore.
No.
Maybe
No.
it'll get nominated for something, right? They're releasing it late enough. It's Oscar bait, right? In November.
I don't know, Denzel's fighting in it.
Right. But like, I mean, his last movie, literally nobody cared. His last like 2 movies. The one with Affleck and Damon and Adam Driver and like all those people, like nobody ever went to see it because it was like 3 hours long.
Yeah, well.
And like people just don't have that bandwidth to go to the movie. So it's like going to be a box office blah. I
Yeah.
hope they don't expect it's going to be a big hit because nobody's proven to me yet that Pedro Pascal is actually a box office draw either.
Well, we'll see when the Fantastic Four comes out, right?
What's his claim to fame? An HBO show, right? Another HBO show. A Wonder Woman 1984. Ooh,
Mandalorian,
big
couple
one there.
TV shows.
Oh, a Disney Plus streaming show that nobody knows how many people watched. And
And if he's actually really never on set for.
yeah, and then the Nicolas Cage movie, right? With the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He was great in that. Not box office showing at all. So
What
I don't
about
know
Wonder
that.
Woman 2?
Which one?
Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah, nobody would see it. Because they couldn't because it was so dark and it was drawn in drive-throughs because that was the only movie theaters playing at the time.
Yeah.
No, right. Narcos.
Narcos.
Again.
There you go.
No idea how many people did or did not watch Narcos because it's a streaming show. So I can't tell you that he can actually make money other than just being famous in general. If you put Kim Kardashian in a movie, nobody's going to go see it. So I can't tell you that he's going to be a box office draw.
Wait, what was she in?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. All right. Fallout.
Oh, we're going Fallout first.
Oh, Fallout first.
Wow, I figured we'd end up with Fallout.
Nah,
There's going to be so many spoilers.
Nah, we'll end up with Deadpool.
Got it.
We'll end up with Deadpool because that's not spoilers. So, really fast, if you have not seen the Amazon Prime TV show Fallout, we're gonna drop a ton of spoilers for the next maybe 5 to 10 minutes, probably less. 37:30 on your time clock here. You finally got through it all. You were away. You missed it when it all dropped at once. Did you like it? Now, I had thoughts about what you would think about it after the first episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought that you would think it drugged too much overall.
No, I mean, I wish that it had come out weekly.
So do I.
I understand the first 2 episodes is kind of everybody's little formula now. Let's get them and hook them because the first episode rarely it has enough of a hook to grab people past it. I thought this one had plenty after the first episode.
Oh yeah,
to keep people into it and hooked up. But I wish that I hadn't been able to binge it because I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. But I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I had to wait a week for each episode.
Digest an episode instead of jumping right in.
And then there's conversation, right? Like it really hurt this show, and the fact that they probably planned it that way and for some reason didn't, because everyone had a 2-minute previously on before, and I was like, I literally just finished it. Why would you give me a previously on?
Yeah.
So it looks like they meant to drop it not all together, and I don't know what predicated them to do it that way, but I wish they hadn't.
I wish it had been a weekly thing too. We'd still be talking about a couple of the earlier episodes.
It would be on episode 3, maybe.
I thought it was fucking fantastic. Like, I thought it was fantastic.
Now, what's your background with Fallout?
I have played 3 New Vegas and some of 4, but I know a lot of the lore from reading, not just this, but I looked into it a lot, playing New Vegas, you're Googling stuff, playing Fallout 4, I'm Googling stuff. So I knew a lot of the lore, and it was always really interesting stuff to me.
I've played about 30 minutes of Fallout 4.
I got to the Fallout 4 is actually this week on the 25th getting a monster update.
Oh. Well, it's also the last game they released in 2014,
No, they
15.
released Fallout 76.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But Fallout, I think it was Fallout 4 has seen a 525% increase in player base.
I'm sure. Look, the gameplay still holds up, and I think it was
It was.
imagined for PS5.
Oh, no, I thought you were gonna say re-upped. It was renewed for season 2.
No,
That's
no, no. I was going to say the Fallout 4 was I think modded
um,
for PS5.
so the
Thank God it got renewed for season 2
I
based on how season 1 ended.
wish they would recast, um, what's his name?
Maximus?
Yeah, he wasn't good. I didn't like him.
So Maximus reminds me a lot of Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
And the way that he played that character in and out there, depending on how he went. I thought, I mean, of our three leads, right? So we had Lucy, we had Maximus, and then we had the Ghoul or Cooper, whatever we want to call him.
Right.
Supposedly, maybe he's the same guy. Who knows?
Well,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
So yeah, I thought I thought he was hard to watch, but I don't think that's necessarily bad because I think it played to the conflicted. I thought he played a little more pathetic than the character was supposed to be.
Yep.
But I did think that, like I said, it was interesting to watch him, and he made interesting choices with the way that he took the character.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I get it. I saw an interview with Ella Purnell, who played Lucy in the show, that she actually went and played some of the games before stepping on the set. So she said, when I stepped on the set and I put on the blue jumpsuit for the first time, I got that wow moment. Like I understood.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, she has now been in my two favorite video game adaptations.
What was the first
ever? She is one of the voices in Arcane.
Oh, okay.
So she is like in that world before and doing season 2 of Arcane right now because that comes out end of this year.
I thought she was phenomenal. I thought Walton Goggins stole the whole thing. His performance was dead on. After the show, after I finished the final episode, I went back and I looked up what the Easter eggs in the show are, and it was just so much fan service. And the CGI was great, except for the one monster in the water looked like a rubber play toy.
There was a couple spots because Walter Goggins every time he was on screen was a ton of CGI.
Yeah.
Just for the nose, and there was a couple spots where that got a little wonky. But all in, I thought the effects were great. I think it goes back to what we've said a few times now, right? Like all of the big comic franchises need to take a note and get back to their roots and like focus on actually telling a story and not just letting your IP run your product for you. Because the fact that they had really good acting in this show, the storyline actually like drew me in, and I was like, I don't know what happened. I wasn't smart enough to put together the 31, 32, 33 thing,
which
until the end, like how they were populating it and who was where. And,
I didn't put that together either. And I was engrossed in the show. Like this is one of those shows where I didn't just put it on and was doing something else. I like sat and paid attention.
Yeah. This was not a second screen viewing show because I had to read subtitles. Like still trying to get the show again. I have it all downloaded. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But in a way that it was in, I didn't want to miss anything.
No, same.
Which there hasn't been a lot of shows like that lately.
No.
Bad Batch and X-Men 97, for instance, that we were talking about before. Absolutely second screen shows for me.
Yeah.
But this one, I couldn't take that break.
I'm gonna run you through the timeline of where this show fits in with the games really fast. Okay. So, and one other thing that I absolutely loved about the Fallout series always was the 50s aesthetic. Like I loved that the world stopped there, but the technology went forward. But that's where they kept all of their house designs and cars.
Yeah, because the Cold War never finished, so it was like, I mean, and it was set like if it was in the 50s and they were doing it in the future. That's it's neat how they have that done.
So the bombs drop in 2077. Okay. Yep. Fallout 76, which is the most recent game, takes place in 2102.
Right. It's only
That's
like 25 years later.
right. Fallout 1 takes place in 2161. So that's 60 years later.
Yep. So 90 years after the original, after the
Right.
Great War.
And then Fallout Tactics, which I don't even remember, is in 2197. The Fallout, the second game, that's 2241. And then Fallout 3 is 2277. New Vegas is 2281. Fallout 4 is 2287. And then the TV show is after all of this, it's 2296. So they were able to kind of craft their own story, but tie it back in to the overall world.
Yeah, it was incredibly well done. Like I said, having not really played the games, I thought I could tell when there was Easter eggs for people popping up here and there. You know, is kind of the nods. It seemed like Matt Berry, by the way, fantastic.
Yep.
As soon as I heard the voice, I was like, "Oh, I think I know who that is," and then I was like, "Oh." And the beauty of Amazon, if you don't watch this on Amazon through some other service, you're missing out on the IMDb integration. Oh my god, so great!
I do it. I find myself, it takes me longer to watch an Amazon Prime show because I'm pausing it to see who the actors are and where I've seen them before.
Yeah, so there was. Yeah, I just needed names most of the time, and the one was Bud. When I saw the brain, I was like, "Whose voice is that?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, I saw that name before." And then I realized that it was the same guy because they don't really say it for a little while.
Right.
And you hear it talking, and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah.
But I do find that to be a fun feature there. But yeah, I thought Fallout from start to finish was great, and I'm incredibly excited for season 2. I hope it doesn't take them 5 years to do it.
I hope so too.
Like they should go start filming that tomorrow.
Really, really fast. I'm going to touch on one or two little DC things real fast.
Okay.
One, do you know who was almost cast as Lex Luthor by Zack Snyder?
I don't.
One, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, dear God. Couldn't
Would that have been better or worse
than Jesse Eisenberg?
Jesse Eisenberg. Miss Tessmacher would have been young.
Might have been better.
I don't know. I mean, he could have. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the writing in those movies was so bad that it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
to be fair, I think look, and I'm not a fan of Snyder's take, right? As I've made abundantly clear over the years, I don't like the dark version of everything, but I think the writing was so bad that it wouldn't have mattered who you cast in
there. There's articles that I'm not getting into right now about why he chose to do Batman versus Superman as opposed to make a Man of Steel 2, and why they did the Martha thing. I'm going to save that for next time we get together here.
Cool. We'll talk about the Ma and Pa casting next time too.
We can talk about them next time. I want to get into the few little Marvel things really fast, and then just wrap up with the Deadpool trailer. Tom Holland is involved in the creative process of Spider-Man 4.
I saw this. Yeah.
And I like what he had to say about it. Is that they want to make sure that they get the right story, and they bring from 3, which was such an emotional roller coaster, and they want to make sure that the story makes sense to come into 4, and that's why they're not rushing it. And I think that's a good way to take it, as long as he's not 45 when they get to the.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only 26. Like, that's the only nice part, is that he was actually young enough when they cast him that he's still young.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's barely aged when you look at him. I mean, he has, but you know.
Before we go into the Deadpool thing, catch up on the chat real fast. Charles saw a preview of the George Romero Resident Evil documentary this past weekend at Creature Feature Weekend in Gettysburg.
He did. He sent us a link to it too. It looks pretty cool.
He did. And he also saw a good horror film this past weekend called A Town Called Purgatory. Not my cup of tea, but sounds like it's good stuff. And hello, Dom. Look at that.
Good job.
Now we're caught up.
And catch up.
May 4th is coming up.
So, it is. So yeah, there's some
Star
Wars
stuff.
stuff.
Take a break. Pete's gonna have to take a break for a week.
Yeah, so we can hit that real quick because I forget when they announced that, right? The Star Wars stuff. So they did announce Tales of the Dark Side is coming out on May 4th.
I have that right here. So Bad Batch, the final 2 episodes are April 24th, and May 1st. Star Wars Tales of the Empire parts 1 to 6 comes out May 4th. Be with you. Star Wars The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2 come out on June 4th, and then that goes weekly to July 16th, 8 episodes.
Yeah, that sounds quick because I think Tales is 6 episodes, isn't it? So aren't they going to run at the same time?
It's Tales says 1 to 6, May the 4th be with you. Sorry.
Oh,
Pete.
all episodes are going to drop at once.
Sorry, Pete. I can't stop myself.
And then wait,
Skeleton Crew is TBC.
Did I miss when Bad Batch finishes?
Yes, Bad Batch is April 24th, episode 14, episode 15, May the 1st. I'm hoping to be caught up by then. So
is it done? Is it only 15 episodes? Okay.
15 episodes. It sounds like a lot. That's probably why I hesitated.
Yeah, but there's a lot you can skip.
Yeah. And Andor is coming out 2024, 2025, probably 2025.
Yeah, Tales from the Dark Side looks pretty interesting. So it's going to follow Morgan Eldrith, whatever her name is.
Tales of the Empire?
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Should be Tales from the Crypt. Tales of the Dark Side? Tales of the Dark Side was a show, wasn't it?
It was a show also, yes.
Yeah, that sounds more interesting than Tales of the Empire.
Yeah.
Because neither one of these people are in the Empire, so it actually makes more sense to call it. Anyway, whatever. And then Barris Coffee from the who is like Ahsoka's nemesis towards the end of her run in Clone Wars is also the other lead for this, same as they did last time was Dooku and Ahsoka. So it should be interesting to see which way they take that, and if we then reintroduce one of those characters back in a future show.
Yeah. All right. The Deadpool trailer.
I watched it.
What did you think of it?
Are
you excited for the movie more or less?
I'm going to give it the one nod that I have to give regardless, that I love that they put in there, was Liefeld's shoes.
The feet?
Yep. As anybody that doesn't know, Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool, has been railed for the 30 plus years since he created Deadpool and started drawing comic books for not being able to draw feet. So the fact they had that in there is amazing to me. And I got to go look at Rob's Twitter feed because I'm sure he's been posting about it a million times today. Yeah, look, whatever. I'm way less interested in it now than I was.
Yes, Dom, I am.
Yeah, the real question: are you guys getting the popcorn buckets? I probably will not.
I probably will.
You will, though. That's fine. Yeah, I am not in love with that idea. So speaking of what you said earlier, right? So you said the movie If coming out looks like Ryan Reynolds getting to be Ryan Reynolds, right? This looks like the dynamic that Ryan and Hugh have had on social media for the last 7 or 8 years. Just in a movie. That's all it looks like. It's not Deadpool and Wolverine. It's Ryan and Hugh hanging out is what it feels like to me. And just doing their shtick that they've been doing for the last decade. So I'm like, whatever.
I kind of think I agree with Dom. Dom said that Deadpool and Wolverine will be what we thought Multiverse of Madness will be and more.
See, I don't. I think we're all going to be disappointed.
So
after this trailer, I think we're all going to be disappointed in that.
I didn't want to watch the trailer because I don't want to see it. Like I'm boycotting any and all information coming forward from this movie. Like I don't want to know. Like there's already pictures and stuff, and there's Easter eggs in the trailer, and a couple of them is, we got the Void, and we see a little bit more stuff in the Void than we did this time. We got to see the 20th Century logo a little bit more.
He got a giant Ant-Man costume.
Not an Ant-Man costume, it's an Ant-Man body. Like his whole entire body is there. So when they pan out and you look at the Void, like the Void coming at it, you could see the whole body. And like they're coming out of his skull.
Got it.
You get Wolverine with the sleeveless, what you call it, with the sleeveless costume instead of having the sleeves, which he looks like um in one shot. Um, Cassandra Nova, from the brief couple seconds she's in the trailer, she looks great.
Yeah,
But
I still don't know who that is.
it's Charles Xavier's twin sister.
Oh dear God! All
It's
right,
a whole thing about being in the womb, and you'll look it up and you'll know better.
is that why she's
Yes, that's why she's
bald? Got it.
yes, yes, that's partially why.
Sure.
Um, there was yeah,
Oh, by the way, Don mentioning that in the comics Deadpool killed the Marvel Universe. Which, look, go read that. It is so much fun. It's a little multiverse thing. Like they go to a different universe, or it's Deadpool in a different universe where he
right.
kind of gets hired to kill everybody and literally goes through the entire Marvel. It's wild.
There's a brief shot of the Red Skull's Hydra car.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, so did I. It's been tricked out. And on the front where there was a little Hydra, you know how the cars had them little. Remember when the cars had them little things on the hood at the front with the car symbol? It's an Iron Man logo, not Hydra in this. You get to see Dog Pool licking his face. That's cute. What else is there? There's so here's something interesting. I want to throw this theory out there that I thought of when I saw this before I read anything online. The Doctor Strange portal that they jump through.
Mm-hmm.
They're jumping out one of the eyes of Ant-Man's skull. Because there's whole skulls in that helmet. What if when they jump through that portal, they jump into Endgame? What if they jump into Endgame and that's where you get most of your cameos, aside from the villains that appear down in front of the skull? Because there's a bunch of X-Men villain that appear in front of the skull in one quick shot.
I gotta look at some of those closer again.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know that they would jump into Endgame.
but wouldn't that be freaking awesome?
It would. I am concerned that we are now going to make this movie much better than it ends up being.
Well, we did that with Doctor Strange.
Oh my God, so bad.
We thought that was going to be the be all and end all of everything.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so nervous about this one, especially given what they just showed us. I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's cool that it's kind of Old Man Logan, but not really.
So in front of the skull, when she's walking out, Lady Deathstrike's there.
Yep.
Toad, Ray Park's Toad is there, the good Toad. It looks like Callisto, Azazel,
who is technically Nightcrawler's dad.
Right, he's there. And there's more there, but you can't tell because it's grainy.
Yeah.
And it could be a bunch of X-Men villains there. I want it to be good. I'm scared it's not going to be good because Doctor Strange hurt me and hurt me good. And I still feel that pain to this day. But am I a little bit scared? I'm a little bit scared. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, the trailer did nothing to sell me on wanting to see it more.
It did me. But
and that's great. I rather my characters be my characters and not be the actors. And this feels more just like I said, the shtick that we've had for years from Hugh and Ryan and their rivalry and all their online, gimmicky videos and stuff. Like that's all this feels like to me. Which is fine, but I don't need that to try and reboot the Marvel universe for me.
Understood that. I understand that. I have a couple of things to watch. Ghost Rider just disappeared and went to hell, so I have to figure out what's going on with that. Now that you know where I'm at there.
Yep.
Yes, tell us where Multiverse of Madness hurt me, Frank. Let me count the ways. You ruined the Fantastic Four for me. Mike saw the Vanisher in the trailer. That's pretty funny. But I've got nothing else. I got to get some different links in, some more links.
King of the links there.
Yes, for next time we'll have some more. Well, next time it'll be a little bit of a slower pace since we're caught up again.
You're even going to be nice and play that song for me when we're done.
Yeah. God.
But hey, as always, I did not get the chance to lament the loss of Google Podcasts because I'll tell you their replacement in YouTube Music is god awful. And I don't want Spotify, and I can't do Castbox. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Spotify's
They're
good.
all no. Yeah, but I can't just import my stuff, so I have to. And then I got ads, and like
You got Anchor.
I don't need all that. So we'll see what happens from my podcast listening standpoint. I will keep you all abreast of the situation because
Listening.
yeah, just listening. I don't watch stuff because I listen because I drive, and
Just
it's
use
not safe to use your phone while you drive. Frank, stop it.
Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, but you shouldn't watch videos on Apple
I
CarPlay
don't
while
watch
you drive.
videos. I listen to the podcast. I use my time at work to watch videos.
Fair enough. So yeah, anywhere, any of those places that you do still listen to your podcast, drop us a rating, tell a friend, tell them to come check it out. You can always catch us live on YouTube and on the Facebooks. And you can check me out at jackkidmusic.com, debuting at Harrigan's Pub Friday night in Warminster. And then Sunday I'll be at Barnaby's in Aston.
Nice.
So thanks, everybody.
I'll give you 20 seconds.
More than enough. See ya.